we got to talk about reffing, right? Refereeing it. I know that personally, I don't like talking about refereeing too much because it is what it is. But there were just so many plays that were like should have been flagged for the Bills' benefit. I can think of three specifically against Diggs that egregious like third and goal where Diggs' jersey is getting pulled right in front of him. That third and whatever in overtime where he's getting pulled back, his jersey getting pulled back, and then there's a still shot where I forgot who's defending him has his jersey pulled like a full yard and a half, and none of those plays got a flag on it. I thought refereeing today was clear and obviously in favor of the Buccaneers. And, there were some defensive DPIs called against Levi Wallace and Dane Jackson. And it really upset me because if they're going to call that, then why didn't they call those pass interference plays on Stephon Diggs? Why was it that we didn't get any of these calls? And I don't like, again, to echo what I said earlier, I don't like saying, hey, we lost this game because of the refereeing. And I still don't think we lost this game because of the refereeing, because the Bills had their chances, right? But it didn't help that the Zebras decided to swallow their whistles on some key moments of that game. And it's just downright disrespectful to the Buffalo Bills organization. And as fans, I'm sure you're in this, some of you felt this in the realm. I had thought at one point that this game was rigged. And I don't think the NFL is rigged, but that did come across my mind. It was just like, how are these passes not being called? I mean, how are these penalties not being called? But Bruce Nolan put out a tweet there. It's highly more likely that a group of 4 people missed the call on some plays versus a group of 32 NFL teams working underneath the table to devise a plan for 17 weeks in the regular season for an ultimate outcome. So I just want to mention that, and I know I'm hogging the mic here, Justin, so why don't you tell me how you felt about refereeing in this game?
So Bruce is telling me there's a chance.
Basically.
Yeah, to echo kind of where you started off there, I never like to sit down and talk about the game afterwards and say, the officiating cost us the game, right? So a couple of my points on it is what I'm looking for is consistency, and the biggest areas I've seen this in the NFL this year is pass interference and taunting. Where it just seems to be a different set of rules. And this is kind of across the league, not just speaking to Bills games, where, one thing is taunting, one thing is pass interference, and then something seemingly worse happens on the other side, or the same, and it doesn't get called. I think this is a huge issue across the league, and yes, there's a certain amount of human error that's going to go into this, but for my eyeballs, that level of human error should be going both ways, and it really doesn't seem to at times. Mm-hmm. And all that being said, I agree with what you're saying. It seemed heavily in the Bucs' favor and all that, and again, I don't want to sit here and say that we lost the game because of officiating. So where I kind of leave it is we've seen a lot of this year, right? So my point to it is being kind of try to take it out of the officials' hands. And yes, there's flags in key moments, but maybe those key moments aren't as big of moments if you don't start yourself off with a 21-point hole in the first half. So I guess my overarching theme to it is we can sit here after the game and we can be as upset as we want to be about the officiating, but we as a fan base, we as talking as a team. We can't really do much about how the games are officiated. But what the team can control is, to an extent, not getting off to such a slow, miserable start and having to cram a whole game's worth of plays into a second half because you started off in such a huge hole.
Yeah. And I'll add one more part to this. I understand why pass interference is a thing in the league. And that call against Levi Wallace, I don't think it should have been called, but it was called. Levi Wallace said it was a bad call. I don't know if this is digging too far into the bag, but I think it was the season opener about 2 years ago where the Bengals were playing us, and there was a pass to Dawson Knox, and I could be wrong here, but it was a very similar play where Dawson Knox came back into the defender, and, a flag was thrown. The Bills have benefited from that type of play before, so I'm not saying I agree with it because I didn't think we should have got that call then, but sometimes stuff like that happens. What I am saying is if you're going to call pass interference, again, and I've already mentioned this, if you're going to call a pass interference on that against the Bills, do it the same way on the other team, on a more obvious pass interference. Just be consistent between both teams. That's all I want. You guys are the NFL, multi-billion-dollar league. And you're telling me only 4 of you guys, you had 4 pairs of eyes on that play, and none of you saw that? There was a guy in the crowd using Snapchat and had a better angle of the play than the NFL. Are you kidding me? What? I don't know. There were just so many things in my head where I was just like, this makes no sense. And I'm really just mad about it. Not because the Bills lost. Well, yes, because the Bills lost. But because this just seems, the Bills fans, bad penalties are not just a Buffalo thing. It happens to all NFL teams. But if we are living in a vacuum, it does feel like this is a reoccurring theme in tight games, such like this. The Bills are now 0-5 in one-score games. And I guess that's where I'll let you kind of, give your last thoughts here on the one area of where I felt after that game.
Yeah, this is a situation where it's really hard at times to be objective about things like that when it's my team and I'm watching the game. So I try to really take a step back and be like, well, if the calls were going the other way, how would I feel about it? And I feel like I've gotten to a pretty good point of, if I see a call go the Bills' way, I might be like, I don't know if that, I'll take it. I don't know if that was pass interference. But that being said, a lot of these calls that we're talking about, the one that particularly sticks in my mind is Diggs beats his defender, and you can see, those jerseys really stretch, and there's the tail of his jersey stretched like a foot.
Oh my God.
And
terrible.
It's kind of like, it's not like it's happening away from the play. Like the ball's headed that way. The ref's eyes are on it. It's really hard to see, and it's hard to stomach it. And to take it a step further, I try to watch, I have the NFL Game Pass. I try to rewatch as many games as I can every week, just to kind of keep an open mind about what's going on. And it's a problem across the whole league. And honestly, I don't remember the officiating ever being this bad. And that's going back to when they had
they were terrible.
Yeah, when they had the replacement refs in. And I'm talking across the whole body of a season. I think the replacement refs were doing a better job than we're seeing this year.
Hot take.